The Florida Panthers just robbed the NHL yet again. They picked up a new player that Bill Zito knew would be an absolute steal, especially now that Matthew Tkachuk will more than likely be placed on long-term injury reserve. This was a move this team had to make to fill a hole in their roster without adding a significant increase in their cap space that they are already over. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. I'm your host, Greg Andrews. Hit that subscribe button down below. You guys need to stay up to date with anything and everything that has to do with your back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. So, Matthew Tkachuk, the news has come out. He did have surgery several weeks ago, and it looks like he will be out until at least January. Again, we do not know anything else of what has been happening surrounding his recovery, surrounding anything really. All we know is that surgery did take place. We don't know the exact date, but the rumor is that it's somewhere between about 2 to 4 weeks ago. Now, the Florida Panthers signed someone to come in and technically take his place, but not really. I'm going to get into what the reasoning is behind this signing. So, this is what we're looking at right now. Matthew Tkachuk is out until January, like I just said. So they ended up signing Luke Kunin. Not a bad pickup. This is a steal for the Panthers because last season, yes, it was two different teams. He played for the Blue Jackets. He got traded to them, but he played for the San Jose Sharks before that. He had a $2.75 million cap hit. This season, this is why it's a steal for the Panthers. They got him for only $775,000. That is a steal, because he does have a ton of experience. 434 NHL games. I want to talk to you guys about this guy. He might not be the sexiest pickup for this team, but it's a big one nonetheless, because it's the physical style of play that he brings that Bill Zito wants to take Matthew Tkachuk's place. Not really take his place, but fill a hole in the roster, because what's going to happen is we're going to see guys change around on the lines. Obviously, it's going to be probably Evan Rodriguez that will be bumped up to that second line where Tkachuk was, and we might see some movement around in the lower lines. Obviously, the third line is going to stay. Where is Samoskevich going to be? I don't even really know, but Luke Kunin more than likely will be on that fourth line, and we just have to kind of wait and see where all the chips may fall in terms of where Samoskevich will be. Where's Evan Rodriguez going to be? Obviously, Evan Rodriguez can be moved around from several different positions on the ice in terms of several different lines. And, we're just going to have to wait until the season starts to see exactly what Paul Maurice decides to do in terms of interchanging some of these lines. I have a feeling he will do a little bit of experimenting, per se, and just kind of see where are guys going to fit in this year. Don't change any of the lines. Obviously, that first line is going to stick as is with Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Reinhart. The second line is the one that maybe we'll see a tiny bit of movement with Matthew Tkachuk not there. Like I said, Evan Rodriguez usually takes his place. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly where Luke Kunin will fit in, where Samoskevich will fit in. So I don't want to speculate too much, but preseason is about to begin, so it'll be an interesting ordeal to say for the Panthers to have. And so Luke Kunin, who is he? Well, a veteran. Okay, 27 years old. He had 18 points in 63 games with the San Jose Sharks last season, 11 goals, 7 assists. Not the biggest numbers for a forward, not the biggest guy either. He is 6 foot, 197 pounds. So tall, 6 foot is not bad. 200 pounds, he could lay the body. And the best part is, like I said, he likes to lay the body out. He will throw himself around and be as physical can get. And I'll tell you what Bill Zito had to say about acquiring Kunin and the reason why he decided to do that. So, when he was acquired by the Columbus Blue Jackets in a trade, he was leading the San Jose forwards with 163 hits. Like I said, he likes to lay the body, which I love. He was also the alternate captain. So he is a leader. That's good. I like that a lot. So again, is this possibly a good steal for the Panthers? I'm not going to anticipate Kunin putting up, 40 points in the time frame that Matthew Tkachuk is out. And then when he gets back, that's not what I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating that physical style of hockey, being a leader, fitting in seamlessly with this team right off the bat. And I think if he is playing on that fourth line, which is very physical, I think he'll fit in perfectly. I do. Like I said, I'm not anticipating, 10 goals, 12 goals while he's here, and another 15 assists or something. But hey, crazier things have happened. We've seen some pretty impressive numbers from some guys on this team that I think you wouldn't really expect it. So anything is possible. So here are his numbers from the past several seasons. So again, 63 games with the San Jose Sharks, 11 goals, 7 assists, only 18 points. Plus minus, not very good, but he's usually playing on those third line, fourth lines, not one of those big time players that gets a ton of ice time. You could see here, he gets less than about 3/4 of a period total ice time. So not a bad average, but with the Columbus Blue Jackets, they didn't really use him a whole lot, just under 12 minutes of time on ice on average. A lot of penalty minutes though. You could see, if you want to do the math on that, it's 55 minutes of penalties last season between two different teams. Not terrible. Are we going to see him be a long-term Panther? I don't know. Let's hope that he does have a really solid several months here until Matthew Tkachuk gets back. Maybe they are able to trade him, get some draft capital for him. We'll see what happens. Again, Bill Zito's got a plan. I kind of felt like he was going to do something and make a move somewhere, but he's not. He doesn't really have the ability right now to try to chase after a really big name player. You're going to have to excuse me. I'm a little hoarse today. But yeah, he's not able to go after a big name player because they don't have the salary cap to do it. Yes, they can go $9.5 million over where they currently stand in total from that salary cap, but I don't think he's willing to do it because then you're gonna have to give up a bunch of guys right when Matthew Tkachuk gets back, and he doesn't want to do that. That's why he's like, get a guy at the league minimum, bring him in, fill that hole in the roster. Try not to go with someone who's going to be a rookie or in the AHL. Whatever it is, find a guy with experience that can be a leader, that can still contribute, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, $775,000 is a smashing good deal for the Panthers to get this guy for. So, not a ton of player of experience in total, 14 games all, and he's only put up 4 goals and assists. So, like I said, not really a great pickup, but it's good enough for what the Panthers are trying to do while Matthew Tkachuk is out. So I'm not going to say I don't like it. I'm not going to say that I love it. I'm kind of in between, but it's something the Panthers really needed because without Tkachuk, they still need somebody to get out there and put the body on to try to play that, again, that game within the game. Maybe he is going to be able to do some of that mental stuff. We'll see. I don't know if he's that kind of player. I don't know much about Luke Kunin, but still not a bad pickup. And this is what Bill Zito actually had to say. I'm going to put the quote up here in just a second about Luke Kunin. He's a physical and highly competitive forward who possesses excellent leadership abilities and strong character. And that's exactly what this team needed. Someone that can emulate Matthew Tkachuk. Is he going to be 100%? No, absolutely not. You can't replace Matthew Tkachuk. No. He's a very, very special kind of player, a talent that you can't find anywhere in the league. I'm not talking about, he's the best player in the world. That's not what I'm saying. He's a very unique player with his mental and physical abilities. That is what makes Matthew Tkachuk. There is not another one like him out there, and that's what makes him so spectacular. So these are Tkachuk's numbers. I'm going to throw up the other ones right now. Obviously, they're not going to compare. Matthew Tkachuk's numbers are so much higher, such a better player, bigger guy. You can't replace him. So these are his numbers in 75 games, 11 goals, 7 assists, 18 points, 112 shots. And 12 takeaways, 30 giveaways. Again, numbers aren't, jumping off the page and saying, oh my God, but he is young, 27 years old. So he will do what he's going to be told from the Florida Panthers, from Coach Paul Maurice. He's going to get on the ice. He's going to have to be that physical style of play that Coach Paul Maurice is going to ask of him, and I don't see the team really doing a giant step in the direction of, oh man, this is going to really help the roster with Matthew Tkachuk being out. But I think it's going to be that next man up mentality. Again, it's going to be playing that dirty time on the ice, stuff like that for him, and be called on when needed in terms of the physical style of play. If they're going up against a team that's really physical, I think he's going to be a very key piece to this. I don't know much about the player except for what I've just done my research on, but that physical style of play is great. That's what they're going to be looking for out of him. Again, not a tremendous amount of numbers, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. I do like the pickup, especially just for the price tag. I think it's perfect. Yes, they went even more over the salary cap, but Bill Zito is trying to play it safe without taking this dramatic step and, let's say, adding a player $3 or $4 million additionally over the cap, which would set them somewhere around $7 million over. So they're hovering around. I think it's about $4.5 million at this point. But we'll see what Bill Zito ends up doing in the future once Matthew Tkachuk does return. When that is, we do not know. Again, it's all speculation at this point. But that is the pickup most recently once the news came out that Matthew Tkachuk was recovering from surgery, and now this is the pickup that the Panthers decided to do. I don't think they're going to try to do any other moves. They're going to keep the roster as is. Keep an Erod, thank goodness. And rest of the roster is going to stay intact for now. And we just have to watch the preseason, see how some of these younger guys play, see if anything can maybe be really tough for them to get a spot on this roster. But I think what we saw last season, that roster, the guys that remained, that didn't leave in free agency and so on and so forth, this roster is going to stay exactly as it is. Sam Miskevich is going to come up, and not a lot of movement. I don't think there's going to be a lot of movement. You know, the top four lines are already solidified. Our defensemen are solidified too. Goaltenders are there. I don't think we're going to see a lot of movement. I think this is more about, like I said, fill the gap in the roster right now with that one hole with Tkachuk missing. You can't find anybody better. Bill Zito has faith in this roster and these guys. I mean, they are a team. There's no other NHL team out there like it right now with the camaraderie, the way that they are. That's why a lot of people are saying, I do think that they have the best shot at trying to three-peat in this and try to be the first team to do it in the salary cap era. So we'll see what happens, guys. Anyways, thank you for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Don't forget to comment down there. And if there are topics you guys want me to cover or a question you want to ask, whatever it is, please do not hesitate. I will cover it on the next episode. I do appreciate all of your support again. I thank you guys so much. I do appreciate it. Until next time, if there's more news or I want to do a spotlight on a player, which I might do, so keep your eyes out, I'll let you guys know. So keep your eyes peeled and go Cats.